Who would you put in the same category of evil as Hitler? Heinrich Himmler,
Pol Pot,
Joseph Mengele, Slayer based Angel of Death on his butchery in the name of Hitler. Pol Pot killed 1/4 of the population. Absolute madness that they had a seat at the UN whilst he was in power. Idi Amin aka Black Hitler was pretty brutal. King Leopold II of Belgium. General Butt Naked, Joshua Blahy, supported Duz coup, acted as head of his personal militia, fought for him during the Liberian Civil War after Duz murder joined the ULIMO fighting against Duz enemies. Before battle and after capturing a town would cut the heart out of a live baby and eat it. Mutilated and dismembered people for no reason, kidnapped kids and used them as child soldiers. Plying them with cocaine to maintain control over them, stated in an interview, "I would enter under the water where children were playing. I would dive under the water, grab one, carry him under and break his neck. Sometimes I'd cause accidents. Sometimes I'd just slaughter them." At the end of the war, carried on his activities as a warlord, seizing control of gold and diamond mines as well as surrounding villages when the NPFL tried to arrest the ULIMO leaders. Led an indiscriminate armed resistance that resulted in the forced displacement of 50% of all people in Monrovia converted to Christianity and became a pastor in time for the investigation into war crimes. Testified against his former colleagues and claimed to have killed upwards of 20,000 people. Received prosecutorial amnesty. Once given amnesty, campaigned for war crimes trials against his opponents during the conflict, including the president. Now travels the country approaching his victims, people he maimed and dismembered, people he kidnapped as children, relatives of those he killed, and demanding that they forgive him in the name of Christ. Goebbels. Idi Amin is up there. Every single person involved in Unit 731. Edit. Only read about them if you've got a strong stomach or are okay with losing faith in humanity. Ante Pavelic, founder of the fascist Ustase movement in Yugoslavia. Whereas the Nazis had enormous industrial might and significant wealth, the Ustase had to oppress, torture, and murder innocent people on a tight budget. This meant herding entire villages to a cliff face, forcing men, women, and children to jump to their deaths, then burying them where they landed. It meant burning villages and bayoneting people as they fled. It meant knives, bludgeons, hammers, and shovels rather than bullets and gas chambers. The Ustase were virulently anti-Semitic, anti-Serb, and anti-anyone who wasn't a full-throated supporter of the movement. Their crimes against humanity were so vile that Nazi officials who visited went back home horrified and disgusted by the brutality. Hitler actually told Pavelic to take it down a notch. Didn't work. After the war, Yugoslavs wanted to round up every Ustase, or uninvolved Croat, and slaughter them. Tito had to keep the lid on civil war, so he stepped in with his own brutal measures. Ustase members and political opponents, as well as plenty of innocent bystanders, were executed or imprisoned. Tito didn't know what else to do to avoid the inevitable reprisals. Hitler was a vile, brutal fascist. Pavelic was a vile, brutal fascist from the discount bin. Leopold II. The guys who ran Unit 731. Honestly, I think there are many people who are more evil than Hitler was. I know that you can't really put a measure on just how bad literally ordering the murder of millions of people is, and this will sound awful, but, given the opportunity, there are people who would do worse. By worse I mean they'd torture more. They'd kill more. And they'd be happy about it. Hitler is the epitome of evil because he had the chance to live out his evil ideas. He had people around him who also believed in the same things and were equally if not more evil. Ante Pavelic, Croatian MF and Nazi collaborator, pretty sick fella. Albert Fish, Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka. Nobusuke Kishi. He was the Japanese governor of Manchuria during and before WW2, and oversaw slave labor and the comfort women system. Funny enough, we made him Prime Minister of Japan after the war and his grandson was Shinzo Abe. The Japanese conquest of the mainland around and before World War II. Genghis Khan was the original Hitler with way more success.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.